Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Web3 and Chill. I'm Ayush, joined with Vishal, my co host. And today we have someone with an amazing hairstyle that I admire, Mr. Hrish Lotlikar. Hi, Hrish. How are you doing?
Oh, it's great. Thanks so much for having me. It's exciting to be here. Thanks for, I wake up and, this is my hair. Thank you very much for liking it.
So, Hrish is the CEO and co founder of Superworld. He's also a VC, he's also co founder of Initiative. So, Hrish, why do you do so many things in life? Like, do you not like peace?
I am very passionate about life. I've always have been, and I'm very passionate about learning, very curious. I'm an explorer by nature. You probably know that I live around the world. So every year live in different cities around the world. My 7-year-old has lived in 27 countries. I have a 7-year-old and 3-year-old, and I'm married. And we just love the world, love life and experiencing the world. And that's what Superworld's about. So I'm very happy to be able to do something and build a company, build a decentralized world like Superworld, because our vision is how can we empower anyone to, again, be able to create and discover and monetize and own the world around them. And it very much fits within my, core interest of actually, enjoying kind of exploring and getting to know the world and things. So that's something I enjoy very much.
So, people are already aware of a decentraland or sandbox. Meta is creating its own metaverse. Why Superworld? What's different? What's unique?
Yeah. So, Superworld has been around since 2017. So we've been in this space for a very long time. And, we've had the same vision that, we've had since the very beginning. And our vision is, I would say, differentiated from, is related to, can you hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can? Okay. Sorry. So our vision is related to how do we enhance people's real lives? So that's a big differentiation here. And what I mean by that is how can we use immersive tech, Web3, and AI to enhance your physical life? I want to keep you in the physical world. I love the physical world, right? And so what we're trying to do is create a life enhancing platform and not a life escaping platform. Right. And so I have 2 kids. The last thing I want to do is build a virtual world that sucks them into it. What we want to do is take these technologies and bring them to you in your real life. And then the other big part of our vision is how can we build a virtual world that actually enhances humanity, actually improves the physical world. So when you buy virtual real estate in Superworld, we plant trees in the real world. We're partnered with the World Bank in the Caribbean. We've partnered with, tribes in the Amazon jungle to create digital art in the Amazon so people could learn about deforestation. So a big part of our vision is also how can we use these technologies to actually improve the physical earth that we live on.
Got it. And how today a user experience Superworld? That journey looks like?
Yeah. So, again, our focus as well on the user experience side is to make it as simple as possible to get into Superworld. So that's our focus. How can we get the mainstream audience into Superworld? And, for me to explain kind of that user journey, the way that I often explain it is, a mainstream person a lot of times still is trying to understand what an NFT is, right? They don't completely understand NFTs. They've seen them, they've maybe interacted with them, they have some idea of what it is, but they don't completely get what the big deal is. And some people actually in the last 6 months might have even a negative impression of NFTs, right? And so that's kind of what we're encountering. The second thing is a lot of the mainstream audience is still trying to figure out what AR and VR is. What's the difference? How can I use it? Do I need to go buy a $2,000 headset? How do I get into VR? Or, do I want to get into VR? A lot of people have these questions about immersive tech as well. And then AI is obviously some other, area of huge interest with Chat GPT and generative AI and all these tools that we see coming out. And then finally, I'd say the fourth thing is the metaverse itself. A lot of people are like, what's the metaverse? How do I get into it? What does this mean for me? But when they come to Superworld, they can come to superworldapp.com, which is our website. And when they come to Superworld, they might not know all of those other things, but they do know where they live. They know where they have a business. They know where they go on vacation. They know where they spend time and places in the world that they love. And so what they're doing is they come to Superworld and they buy those places. They buy virtual real estate encompassing those places on Earth, right? And now guess what? They have a wallet and they have crypto in their wallet. And now the next thing they want to do is they want to learn how to create an NFT. They want to learn how to maybe create some AR content or maybe some VR content. How can they get into DeFi or get into other crypto or other virtual worlds? And so what we've effectively created at Superworld is this gateway. We've created a gateway into the metaverse, and that's the user journey that we're really focused on. Is how do we get that mainstream audience to take that small step to get into the metaverse? And this is how they're getting in. Is they're like, you know what? I don't know a lot about those things, but I'm going to come and buy the places on Earth that I love. And then I want to figure out how to get further and go one step further. And so that's what we're doing, is we're helping them get on board, buy virtual real estate in places they love, and then take that next step forward.
Got it. And from an experience point of view, if I understand this fully, if I am a Superworld user and I am standing at New York Times Square, I will just open and see what is the kind of experience is there in this place, and then it will be different from something that is might be 10 street down the lane. That is the correct understanding, right?
Yeah, so that's right. So I think the way that we like to talk about it or think about it is, if I'm in Times Square, I can create or discover content there. So I can physically put content in Times Square. I can pull out my phone and see it in augmented reality that it's there, right? Or other people can do the same thing. They can see content in a real world location. But if I'm not in Times Square and I'm in, Mumbai, and I heard that there's some content in Times Square, I can also pull out my phone and click on the content and it'll appear wherever I am. So I can see that same content that you've placed in Times Square, but I could see it in my apartment, wherever I am in the world, right? As well as I can go to our map interface. So I just talked to you about augmented reality, right? Looking at a piece of content in your real world environment in Times Square in your apartment. But the other thing is I can look at the map, and then I could say, oh, let me see what's happening in Times Square. I can zoom in and I can see what's been placed there on a map type interface. So then I could click on that and I could watch a video of that content. So I know it's there. And so it's easy to discover. It's easy to share on other platforms as well. And, we want to make it as easy to kind of upload content into real world environments, discover content in real world environments, share content anywhere. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I have a lot of people on Telegram. I'd love them to know that I've put some artwork in Times Square and I'm selling it. I'd love for you to, be able to share a deep link that you click on and come back and you can see that this content's in Times Square. And then monetize. So how do we, enable you to monetize? So maybe you created that content as an NFT. Maybe you've, created an event that you're selling tickets to. Maybe you are starting a DAO and you want get people to join your DAO and you've put that DAO in Times Square. So those are the kinds of things that we're working on and thinking about.
And that's great. I love the whole concept of having a metaverse on the existing world and making it more immersive and not taking somebody out of the real world. Amazing, man. Love the concept. If you don't mind, how many, what's the daily active users count for Superworld right now?
Yeah, so the stat that we're really focused on that I think we're working on and see a lot of promise in is that our average paying user does about 10 to 15 transactions on the platform in the first month, spends about $2,000 to $4,000 on the platform, and then refers about 5.6 paying users to us. And so, the reason you probably heard about us in the press, or the reason, probably some of your friends have talked about Superworld, and the reason we're doing this podcast as an example, is what we found is that if you get into Superworld and you bought land in Superworld, you're going to tell a lot of people about it.
Oh.
And then you're also going to be very galvanized about the fact that you're in Superworld and you own this area in Superworld. And then you're also going to be very focused on, what you want to build there. So you're going to be telling us, you're going to be telling the world, hey, this is like what I want to build. This is what I want to do. And so where we are right now as a company is we're focused on, okay, if Vishal has purchased, an area in Mumbai and he's a business owner and he wants to, market his business in Mumbai at that location, because that's where his business is located, what does he want to do? And we'll give you some examples, right? So if he's an artist, let's say that's his business, he wants to create NFTs that represent his art, either physical art or digital art, and he wants to sell them in a gallery. If he's a musician, he probably wants to do a concert and sell tickets to that concert. If he owns a retail location and he wants people to come into his store, he wants to create content there to attract people into his store. If he wants to, if he's selling houses or some kind of real estate, he wants people to visualize the real estate and then come and rent the houses or buy the houses. I'm just giving some examples, right? And so what we're focused on is creating the tools for Vishal to be able to do those things that he wants to do. And once we've built all the tools, which is kind of where we are right now, we have some tools that are available. We're actually launching an events integration in the next couple of weeks, which will be a big announcement. So we'll create tools for him to throw an event if that's what he wants to do. Once we've built out a certain number of tools this year, this is what we're focused on, then we'll focus on scaling. So right now we have, 50 to 100,000 monthly active users that are coming to Superworld. But what we're more focused on is not that, but we're focused on how do we build for our super citizens. And our super citizens are those that come on the platform and understand what our vision is and come and buy these areas in Superworld that they want to start building on. And we're building those tools to help them as partners to help us build out in Superworld. And so Miami and Dubai, as an example, will be two showcase locations where we're going to start showing off some of these tools and some of the things that we're building.
Oh, that's great. Maybe next time, for the next podcast, we can be inside Superworld, and rather than having a Zoom, we could just move around in Dubai or Miami. So this sounds like a plan.
Yeah. One of the things that we're really excited about is the possibility, which is already in existence, but we're going to be integrating it fully very soon, which is the ability to upload a GLB file into Superworld. And it could be a GLB file of a city, right? So you could say, hey, you know what? I created my own Mumbai, okay, and or Dubai or in Miami or anywhere, and then you can upload that as a GLB file, and then we can all go into it and walk around and talk to each other. And so again, it could be a real city that looks like the real world, or it could be a fantasy city as well, placed in a real world location.
And that's really interesting. So there's something I wanted to do. I'm taking a line from a website and I'm going to read it out. And would like you to explain what that really means. You did touch upon the NFT part, but yeah. Superworld enables users and brands to create NFTs, like we have spoken about this yet, and DAOs to unlock real world utility in any location on Earth. So, okay, NFTs we understand. The Vishal example was great. What about DAOs? Could you talk about some of the use cases that brands are already exploring about creating DAOs inside Superworlds? And what do they want to achieve with that?
Yeah. So the idea is, one of the first integrations that we're announcing very soon, as I mentioned, is events, right? So let's scope in on that as an example. So let's say, for example, you're hosting an event in New York City, okay? And it's an IRL event. It's a real life, it's a live event, okay? Now, I can discover that event on the Superworld map, okay? And you've maybe you've given me a link to the event, okay? And we've done this in alpha already. So we had ETH Denver and Superworld last week. We had Davos earlier in January in Superworld. So we just posted the online, the IRL events on our map, discoverable on our map, right? And so the idea is you could buy a ticket to that event, okay? Very soon you'll be able to buy an NFT ticket to the event.
Okay.
You could buy NFT collectibles that are sold through the event. So if you attended the event and you created an NFT collectible, then you can buy that NFT collectible through the event, right? And if you can't make it to the event, maybe you can view a live feed to the event. You can pay to watch the event live. So as an event organizer, we, enable you to broadcast and sell a live feed for someone to watch the event, or a sponsored live feed.
That's nice.
And then to your question, if I can't make it to the event and I didn't buy a ticket to the event, but I believe in the cause, you're doing, maybe you're doing an event because you want to save the oceans. Okay. Well, you know what? You want to enable anyone who can't make it to your event to be involved with you. And obviously one way of doing that is to create a DAO. So what we want to do is enable you to create a DAO that, again, can be marketed through your event, that then I could join your DAO. And, you can enable someone to create a DAO, whether it's related to an event or related to another cause, and then be able to discover that DAO in the places where people want to discover the DAO. So I'll give you an example. Okay, this is not something that we've implemented yet, but this is where we're going. So there's a good friend of mine that has a DAO that buys golf courses, right? Links DAO, right? And the idea is that there's a lot of people that love golf that are interested in that DAO, right? And so what we can do, and again, this is an example, right? There's lots of DAOs out there which are focused on the ocean or focused on, other missions. And all of those missions have a kind of a geographical context. Like if I wanted to learn about a DAO that was focused on the oceans, maybe I would look at some, places in the ocean, like places where they have amazing coral reefs, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at that part of the ocean and I'm like, wow, there's a DAO here that saves the coral reef. I don't have to go search online
Yeah.
for the DAO. I didn't have to go into Google and say, is there a DAO that helps protect coral reefs? I just go to the coral reef in Superworld, and I'm like, wow, there's a DAO
You're
that I can
solving for
join.
discoverability. Yeah.
Exactly. Solving for discoverability, creating context around that discoverability, whether it's related to an event that's already happening, whether it's related to someone who owns the virtual real estate in that location. Maybe you bought the coral reef because not only do you want to promote the DAO, but you want to promote, products for scuba diving or virtual tours or, flights to the coral reef or packages to, come and explore that area. So what we're doing is we're creating opportunities for commerce in real world locations. And then we're enabling, people like yourself, individuals or businesses, to own those real world locations where those opportunities are being created and monetized. So you can activate monetization from different opportunities as well.
And that's pretty great. Very interesting. Yeah. Vishal, over to you.
Hey, maybe I'll change the gear and go into the great work you're doing with the Rogue initiative. So I think I read that you are also working with Transformer movies and stuff like that. So what is happening in that area?
So Rogue Initiative is a studio that I started back in 2015 with two other co-founders. And what Rogue Initiative's purpose is, or mission, is to create new original content franchises, working across, traditional linear entertainment like feature film, television, across interactive entertainment like gaming, all the way through immersive entertainment like VR and AR. And my co-founder produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts.
Oh, I
And
played that.
yeah, and was previously at Amblin Entertainment and DreamWorks, along with Michael Bay, who was also there. And so,
Yeah.
we were able to partner with Michael as a production partner in creating new original content franchises. And so that's kind of the goal of Rogue Initiative, is to create new original content franchises from the ground up. And that's what Rogue is involved in. And I think the other kind of idea there is, all of this type of content, whether it's a film or a television show or a game, these are all created in Unreal Engine and Unity
No.
Engine. And so there's a huge opportunity to be able to, again, create content that can grow cross-platform in these engines, in a that is constructed from.
We just lost your voice.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
now
hear
it's
me?
better.
Oh, okay. That's constructed from the onset. So basically how this works is, when you think of a very famous movie, maybe a year later they decide, oh, let's create a video game,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hey, let's create a television show. Or sometimes there's a very famous video game and they're like, hey, we should make a movie, right?
Last of
That is
And
what happening. I think Last of Us, then God of War is coming as a series. Horizon Dawn is coming as a series.
Uncharted.
yeah,
Uncharted, yeah.
and so the idea behind Rogue Initiative is, from the very beginning, can you create new original content that is meant to go across all these mediums? And so
Okay.
that's the idea. And then what we're doing in Superworld is, again, Superworld's a virtual world, right? And we've talked about it. But the idea is you can bring all types of content into Superworld, right? So you're not limited to, a piece of AR or a VR piece of content. You literally can bring any type of content, 3D, 2D, audio, haptic content, anything can be brought into Superworld. And so ultimately, the idea here is we want to bring in, Hollywood type content, whether that's linear, whether that's interactive, or whether that's immersive content into Superworld to aid in discovery and monetization, and also some cross-platform kind of connections to the metaverse. And so we're very interested, I'm very interested in talking to all types of content creators, whether you're creating something that's more user generated or something that has higher production value.
That's super interesting. I think something that I love about your platform is, as you mentioned, you can integrate any type of content out there. Haptics, games, VR, AR. That's crazy. So, in the last 1 year, we have seen the prices of lands across your Decentraland sandbox falling, NFTs crashing, Bitcoin going down the uh, floor. Has this effect? Has this affected um, your progress in any way? Like, is it important for you for the Bitcoin price or an Ethereum price to come up? Is there a correlation between the business you do and what's happening in global crypto landscape?
Well, I think that the organic demand for NFTs has gone down quite a bit, because, I'd say late 2021, early 2022, when crypto prices are rising, and there's just more interest around, crypto and blockchain and NFTs. I think the mainstream customer, it has this like FOMO of, hey, I need to get in, prices are going up. And, I think the reverse of that is what we call crypto winter, when people are like, hey, I don't know about this whole crypto thing, this blockchain thing, like what was that about, And so, I think naturally the demand for anything in crypto and blockchain is affected by that. However, I would tell you that, the thing that's very interesting and very promising for us particularly is that anyone who understands what we're building, like you both do now, in terms of your understanding of what I've explained, understands that this isn't like I'm selling a PFP NFT or something like that. Nothing against a PFP NFT, but meaning there's a lot more complexity here to a decentralized virtual plot of real estate covering a real world location. What is that? How does that work? It's a media asset. And I think that there's a lot of ways that can be utilized and monetized. And so, the one thing that we continue to see is that anyone who understands the vision of Superworld and gets involved with Superworld is excited about that. They're excited about places in the world that they own. I always say that when I talk to our super citizens, I always hear stories. And this is very motivational for me, because if I ask you, where do you own in Superworld, you're going to tell me a story about your life. You're going to tell me, you own this place because you got married there, or you grew up there, or your family's there, or you own a business there. You're going to tell me this very specific story. And then you're going to tell me what you want to build there, like I said before. And why that's interesting is that, even if crypto's down, even if, we're in a crypto winter, you understand the use cases of the technology. And that's not changing with the price of crypto. If anything, it's cheaper to now acquire a plot of virtual land than it was before, right? And so what we're really focused on in this market environment is, how can we go out to customers and educate them about what we're building, what our mission is, how Superworld works, how anyone can, get involved and help build a better world together. And what is our mission, to empower people in their real lives, as well as to do good for the world and to enhance humanity, as I was saying before. And I would say in any market environment, people are very exhilarated to be able to be part of that. And so that's the thing that I think is very galvanizing for our customer base, for our super citizens, but also to go out into the market and to be able to spread that message. Because ultimately, what we're saying is, look, we're creating a technology where you and I can work together to empower ourselves, to help you build a livelihood for your business, for whatever you're trying to do in your personal life. But also, let's work together to improve the real world. Let's solve some SDG goals, and let's work together to beautify the world. Let's again, see how we can build a better world in Superworld. So that for me is energizing too.
Yeah,
Love
that's
the part on
very
how
inspiring. Yeah. No, very inspiring and impactful. I'm sorry I lost my internet in the middle, but it's some amazing work that is happening. So I have a question. Is your platform only restricted to end users, or also you see brands and companies coming and buying lands and building something?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And part of the very interesting user behavior that we're seeing, which is, again, if I ask someone why they bought land, they're going to give me that personal story that I mentioned, but then they're also going to tell me what they want to do, which is what I mentioned as well. But when I get those two things, what I very quickly discover is you're probably a brand. You're a business owner, you're a brand, you're a real estate developer, you're a creator, you're an influencer. So the people that are just naturally attracted to what we're doing are brands, right? And so, what then the next conversation is okay, what is it that your brand wants to do in Superworld? And then this is where we're focused now, is let's build out the tools for you to, again, create the types of experiences, the types of Web3, integrations. Maybe it's a loyalty program for your brand. Maybe it's an immersive experience. Maybe it's a game. What is it that's going to help you as a brand accomplish what you want in terms of your business? And tell us, what are your ideas? Because the beauty of this is, a lot of the brands and the creators and the influencers and the business owners that become virtual real estate owners in Superworld, they have amazing ideas. I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an example. So, last year, a yacht brand that creates, 3D super yachts came to us, a company called 3 Deluxe. And they were like, hey, we create super yachts and we have 3D super yachts. Can we create a super yacht and put it at the Monaco Yacht Show? And can we sell it as an NFT? And so, again, the idea is, in Superworld, you can literally do anything. So the answer was yes, of course. And, so it's just an example of, some of the amazing ideas that come to us. And literally everything I've mentioned to you, has come to us from a brand or an organization that has purchased virtual real estate and then has been very excited about building on top of it. And so a lot of our ideas do come from brands. And then, as I said, in this market environment now, what we're focused on is building out those use cases and then going outbound to brands and explaining to them, hey, you know what? There's, 5 other brands in your category that are already in Superworld and they're working on these types of projects. Here's some ideas on ways that you can get involved. And that's where we're focused our kind of biz dev and partnership efforts now. And again, creating real world utility. So the thing I want to do, and the thing we want to do as a team, is how can we build stuff that actually is important to you? Because we don't want to be like kind of this, you don't want to create something that might be like a good marketing scheme, but doesn't really actually, turn some, make some impact on your business. So we really focused on how do we build out things that actually improve your business, help your bottom line, help you in the sales and marketing side of your business, help you engage with your customer. This is what we're focused on.
Man, this is super interesting. And frankly, after listening to you, I'm very bullish on Superworld. So all the best to you on that. How big is your team right now?
So we have about 20 or so people on our team. We're actually doing a fundraising right now. So we're raising more capital. So if there are partners out there that are interested in our story, definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. The beauty of what we're building, it's very global by nature, right? And so I'm very interested in bringing on partners from every part of the world, because that's what helps us understand the opportunities, understand, where things can be built and why they should be built in those locations. And, in different parts of the world, there's different kinds of exposure as well as engagement with whether it's immersive tech or Web3 or gaming or AI. And so we're really building this kind of very global team of partners and investors. So that's part of our focus right now is growing the internal team, but also growing this kind of investor partner group around us so we can scale around the world.
And is the internal team remote or it's situated only at one place?
We're very distributed all over the world. So we have members of the team almost in every continent around the world. We're distributed.
Oh man, that's pretty great. I mean, after listening to the story, even I really want to contribute somehow because I love the story, frankly.
Yeah, you can. An easy way to contribute, by the way, if you love the story, if you love the vision, come to Superworld. Highly recommend, a plot of virtual land's about $150. So it's an easy way it's not expensive. There's a lot of virtual worlds out there where buying a plot of virtual land can cost tens of thousands of dollars, right? Because it's just a limited quantity. Here we have 64 billion plots of land. So you can literally pick out a plot that you like somewhere in the world. But then the other thing I was going to tell you is what you can do, even if you want to gain more plots in the world, is we have a referral program. So you can join our website, there's a button that says get free plots. You can click there and you can get a referral link. And then you can promote Superworld on your channels or anywhere you want on your profile. And every customer that comes on board, you will get a plot of virtual land in Superworld. So we've had a number of people that amass lots of property in Superworld just from being a referral program member. And then the other thing, which is also interesting, is we have an affiliate program. So which you guys should definitely be involved in because you're broadcasters. You can come, we'll get you an affiliate link. And then currently we pay out $40 for every plot of virtual real estate that's been sold through your affiliate link. And so if you have an organization that, is getting a number of customers, you can really, you sell 100 plots, you got $4,000 as a payout. So we're really trying to work on, building out our super citizen community to help market super citizens, new super citizens, because that's exactly how we want to grow. Is we want to grow with people that understand our vision, right? Because we want to build this world with you. And so it's very important for us to bring like-minded people on board. And this is how we're really focused on doing it, through our own super citizens who know other super citizens. And then finally, one other thing that I'll bring up is we have an ambassador and diplomat program. And so there are, it's a world, right? We got to have an ambassador program. So you can become an ambassador of your country. Okay. And we'll probably have, a couple of ambassadors in countries, and depending on how big the country is, might have a few more. But the idea is we want to have people around the world that are change makers, people that believe in the vision of building a better world. And we want them involved in Superworld to help us spread the message, to use these technologies, to help us figure out what we should be building, but also to get other people on board. So regardless of what field you're in, if you're in Metaverse or you're not in Metaverse, but you're in, any field where you're doing something impactful and you're building a better world and you believe in our mission, we'd love to have you as an ambassador or a diplomat. And I can share more information on that too if you reach out to us.
So that's a call to our community. If you're interested in making a change, please reach out to Superworld and Hrish, and maybe build something crazy out there. So thanks so much, Hrish. Amazing session. I'm sure our audience will love this.
Thank you so much again for, I think, getting the word out on how simple it is, and again, how exciting it can be. I think our viewers will love the podcast and explore Superworld. And maybe we'll do one more episode inside Superworld with you.
Yeah,
That'd be great. Yeah.
we should
Again,
do.
Superworld's all about the real world. So we can, promote your episode in a real world location and get people to sign up to join your, this podcast or the video session, and then we can broadcast it in a real place and maybe be in person.
Well, let's do that. Hey, one last question. This will be in the podcast. Are you folks planning to recruit more for your core team, inner team?
Yes, we definitely are. We're, again, expanding our team in a variety of different categories, but we're always looking for awesome people around the world that can help in engineering, in product, on our community, on socials, in different categories of the business, as well as, as I mentioned, the ambassador and diplomat program. We have a pretty amazing advisory board. We're looking for an investment partner. So there's always a way for anyone to contribute and be involved in this mission. And that's what we want to do. We want to make it really accessible for anyone to be able to help and get involved in our mission.
Yeah, so I'm a product manager. Maybe I'll reach out to you and see if we could, how I can contribute.
Cool. Yeah. Well, please do. That'd be great.
Sure.
I'd love to hear more about your background.
Definitely. It was great talking to you, and let's have a session inside Superworld soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
And loved it. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have
See
a
ya.
great day.
Bye.